Before this show begins, we will tone the bell 10 times in memory of Paul Orndorff.
Hey Nate, how's life? I don't know, it's alright. I've been dealing with some things like every human being and really didn't sleep much last night. I'm sorry, that's fine. I just think I need a little me time. I just think I need a little free time. Little break from the shows and the bus rides. Yeah, last year I had a breakdown. Thoughts telling me I'm lost, getting too loud. Had to see a therapist and I found out something funny's going on up in my house. Yeah, started thinking maybe I should move out. You know, pack my car, take a new route. Clean up my yard, get the noose out. Hang up my heart, let it air out. I've been searching, what does that mean, Nate? I've been learning, grabbing my keepsakes, leaving my burdens. Well, I brought a few with me, I'm not perfect. Looking at the view like this concerns me. Picking up the cues right, I'm quite nervous. Hate it when I lose sight, life gets blurry and things might hurt me. It's probably gonna be a long journey, but it's worth it though. Cold world out there, kids, grab your coats. Been a minute, I know, now I'm back to Rome. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty vivid, I admit it, I'm in classic mode. Don't need pity given to me, but I can't condone. Talking down to me, I'ma have to crack your nose for cracking jokes. I'm looking for the map, the hope, you see that? Been making a whole lot of changes. Wrote a song about that, you should play it. I get scared when I walk on these stages. I look at the crowd and see so many faces. Yeah, that's when I start to get anxious. That's when my thoughts can be dangerous. That's when I put on my makeup and drown in self-hatred. Forget what I'm saying and where the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it'll pump my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean up my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it. Now y'all done it. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if you hate it, I make you feel like you're in it though. You call me what you want, but never call me forgettable. Leave you deep in thought, I can never swim in the kiddie pool. Waited, I've been thinking the cinematic is beautiful. Man, I don't know if I'm making movies or music videos. Yeah, the sales can rise, doesn't mean much though when your health declines. See, we've all got something that we trapped inside that we try to suffocate, you know, hoping it dies. Try to hold it underwater, but it always survives. And it comes up out of nowhere like an evil surprise. Then it hovers over you to tell you millions of lies. You don't relate to that? Must not be as crazy as I am. The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place, and what you feed it can affect you in a powerful way. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Just hang with me, this'll only take a moment, okay? Just think about it for a second. If you look at your face every day when you get up and think you'll never be great, you'll never be great. Not because you're not, but the hate will always find a way to cut you up and murder your faith. I've been developing, take a look at the benefits. Nothing to meddle with, I can never be delicate. My even relevant, that depends how you measure it. Take a measurement to back it up and give me the evidence. Pretty evident, dependable, can never be tentative. I'm a gentleman, depending on if I think you're genuine. Pretty elegant, but not afraid to tell you to get it. Grip proper etiquette, I keep it to myself when I celebrate. It's that time again. Better grab your balloons and invite your friends. Seat belts back on, yeah, strap them in. Look at me, everybody, I'm smiling big. On a road right now that I can't predict. Tell me tone that down, I can't resist. Y'all know that sound, better raise your fist. The search begins, I'm back, so enjoy the trip. Huh?
If you smell what the rock is cooking. The rock says, the rock says. The rock says, the rock.
Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. tension in your fate. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's drying, I feel tension rising. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me, they talk to me, they tell me things that I will do, they show me things I'll do to you, they talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, they talk to me, talk to me, talk to me.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Lisa Ross Jones and
Sean Randy Smith. I was bringing you our reaction, well, our preview to tonight's Money in the Bank show. The first show to have actual fans, excluding WrestleMania of this year.
yes, it is time for
Money, 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 money.
yes. So for the first time since the Elimination Chamber of 2020, about a year and 5 months ago, roughly.
And before the big COVID-19
Fans are back, and the first time since the March 12th edition of Friday Night SmackDown with fans back. But now, let's go through the elimination. Actually, before we go through the Elimination Chamber, sorry. Before we go through the Money in the Bank card, let's just all pause for a moment to say goodbye to our good old friend, the Thunderdome.
Yes. Bye.
Please don't come back.
Yes, we don't need you anymore. But I know wondering, there's a big match missing.
First, there are 7 matches, including the pre-show match on the card. And one thing we always see with wrestling events, card subject to change.
Yes,
Orig-
that happened
Yes,
not too long ago.
originally scheduled to take place on this card was an I Quit match between Bianca Belair and Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. However, as the superstars were preparing to go back on the road, and everyone's favourite boss in Vince McMahon decided to give the superstars a bit more training to do. And during the training session, Bayley would land up getting injured in what we believe is a torn ACL, which means that for the next 9 months, unless she does a Super Cena, Din Don hello is Din Don goodbye.
Or another word for it is now Ding Dong injured.
Which means that this match was pulled from Money in the Bank. And then on the first SmackDown in front of fans, we had Carmella take on Bianca Belair. And Carmella was originally scheduled to be in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
But we'll get on to that a bit later.
Yes, now let's go through the match card. Starting with, for once, we actually have a advertised pre-show match.
Yes, as the Mysterios of Rey and Dominic put their SmackDown tag team titles on the line against the Bloodlines Usos.
Yes, the Usos, at least at the moment, despite some hesitation from Jimmy, seem to be on the same page. However, I have a real problem with this match.
In what reason?
In the reason that Jay, just a few weeks ago, was arrested for a DUI.
Yes.
And they're going to reward him with a championship match.
Yeah, questionable behaviour there, WWE. You shouldn't really be rewarding your superstars when they've been arrested for real life crimes.
Now, we all know how the Money in the Bank ladder match works. Grab the briefcase and you guarantee yourself a world title match anywhere, any time within the coming year. So we now have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, featuring on the Raw side Ricochet,
John Morrison,
Riddle.
and Drew McIntyre.
Now, the problem with Drew McIntyre being in this match is that I seem to remember the stipulation in Hell in a Cell stating that if he lost, he would never get another shot at the championship as long as Bobby Lashley was champion. And if he wins this briefcase, doesn't that all negate that whole stipulation?
Yeah.
Unless, of course, he waits until Lashley isn't champion. But on the SmackDown side, we have Big E.
We also have Kevin Owens,
King Nakamura, who took the crown from Baron Corbin, who seems to be going broke at the moment.
yes, and he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy / husband.
In Seth Rollins. Now, when we look at this match as a whole, where do we see it going? I don't see Ricochet or John Morrison winning because they're mid-card superstars.
And they're only in the match to provide the high-flying moments.
I do. Riddle could be a fun choice, but he's mid to upper card at the minute. Plus, it seems like he may be going into a tag team championship program with Randy Orton if he ever shows his face back up.
Yes, I know I'm currently MIA. I'm sure I'll be back soon.
On the SmackDown side of things, Kevin Owens is of the type of person who would be fun with the briefcase, and the fact that they seem to have been giving him a push for the past several months, giving him an Intercontinental Championship reign, Big E.
Yes, there is strong rumours that he is going to be pushed.
And I think Rollins won't win it because he did the, what I call the curse of death on SmackDown by winning a fatal 4-way match, climbing the ladder, and closing out the show with unlocking the briefcase. If you do something like that before the match, then you're practically telling the audience that you're not going to win. Plus, come SummerSlam time, he is scheduled to supposedly go into a program with someone else that they have been teasing over the past few weeks, but we'll get on to that in a moment.
Yes, now we move on to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and again, the same rules apply as to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Same rules apply.
Here we have, for the Raw women, the Empress of Tomorrow, and last year's Money in the Bank winner when they decided to do this match at WWE headquarters, Asuka.
And that match was quite entertaining back then. Also on the Raw side, we have Naomi.
The bizarre one, and Little Miss Bliss, who was probably one of the favourites to win the match.
Also in this match is Nikki, almost a superhero.
Then on the SmackDown side, we have Liv Morgan.
And the re-signed Selena Vega.
Yes, you heard that right. Selena Vega, wife of, excuse me here, Malachi and Aleister Black.
Copyright. Also in this match are the women's tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina.
For me, no one on the SmackDown side really screams Money in the Bank winner, with the possible exception of maybe Liv Morgan.
Yes, who people are calling the female version of Daniel Bryan.
They do seem to be going in that direction.
Yes, and I wouldn't mind on the Raw side if Alexa Bliss wins. Or Nikki or Superhero wins.
Alexa Bliss winning, I think the problem that people might have with that is that Alexa Bliss has already won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Granted, she was the goddess and not the fiendess.
We did that. And now we have another match. And this will be for the WWE Championship as the almighty WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley, MVP in this corner, takes on Kofi Kingston of the New Day, who hardly Xavier Woods.
Yes, for the past few weeks on Raw, the New Day have picked up several victories over Lashley, causing Lashley to basically lose it in the final show in the Thunderdome. Not sure it's wise for Kofi to pick off Lashley. And as much as I would like to see the rebirth of Kofi Mania, because I believe that this is Kofi's first championship match since losing the title in 4 seconds to Brock Lesnar, because he never got a rematch. I don't see that happening because possible spoiler alert. Apparently, on tomorrow night's episode of Raw, Bobby Lashley will come face to face with Goldberg.
Yes, you heard us right. Goldberg.
Who will challenge Bobby Lashley to a WWE Championship match at SummerSlam.
Yes.
Now, moving on from the WWE Championship, we now go to the Raw Women's Championship, which after what these two have been doing to each other, I do not know how this is a singles match.
I do not know either, as Rhea Ripley put her performance style on the line against Charlotte Flair.
This is a rematch from Hell in a Cell after Rhea Ripley was disqualified for no real reason.
Yeah, no real reason.
If it's a disqualification for Rhea Ripley throwing the top of the announce table off, then how is it not a disqualification for Bianca Belair to use her hair as a whip?
I don't know. WWE logic at its best.
We can all imagine the reaction that will happen if Charlotte wins this match.
It'll be completely, well,
Booed out the building.
yes.
However, depending on the match order, if Charlotte were to win this match, she could suffer on the receiving end of a cash-in.
She could very well could.
But also, if some reports are true, the winner of this match could also be confronted by the man. Should I say,
Yes.
or should we say, the mum or the wife?
Or whatever you want to call her, in Becky.
Who is supposedly scheduled to make an appearance at Money in the Bank. Whether she does or not, we'll have to wait a couple of hours to find out.
We'll see. Now, moving on to a match for the WWE Universal Championship.
Yes, the big face of the table.
The head of the table, Roman Reigns.
He defends the Universal Championship against the superstar who made the Money in the Bank ladder match famous and has been on the receiving end of cashing in successfully and the receiving end of a cash-in, the winner of this year's Royal Rumble match, the Rated R Superstar Edge.
I assume you did that.
Now, this, in some ways, is the match we should have got at WrestleMania. But we all know what happened there. Daniel Bryan decided to insert himself into the match, which was not necessarily a bad thing, though Edge is due a one-on-one championship match. Now, something else we've got to talk about with this match, again, depends on match order, is we mentioned that Seth Rollins, who is in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, would possibly be entering into a program with someone. Now,
Yes.
a few weeks ago, Seth Rollins approached Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville about being the next person to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. That same night, when Roman Reigns was bragging about there being no one left, Edge made his return for the first time since WrestleMania, and basically said, "I'm left. Technically, you didn't beat me." And after basically going to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, after giving one of the Usos a complete and utter beatdown, was given a Universal Championship match. Then, for the weeks between then and now, a couple of times backstage, Seth Rollins and Edge have come face to face. And the reports are that at SummerSlam, Edge will go one-on-one with Seth Rollins. And the other reports and kind of almost, I don't want to say giveaway to this match, because they could do a situation where Edge and Rollins is the Universal Championship match, and this this rumored, pretty much confirmed match with Roman Reigns is just a one-on-one match. They could do it that way. But it's looking like the main event of SummerSlam will be Roman Reigns versus John Cena sucks.
And finally, the last match we have on the card is for the Raw Tag Team Championship, as AJ Styles and Omos put their titles on the line against the Viking Raiders of Eric and Ivar.
Yes, a few weeks ago, the Viking Raiders won was it triple threat, some kind of match to become the number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles. Then over the next couple of weeks, including, I believe, a Money in the Bank qualifying match, the Viking Raiders would cost AJ Styles and Omos certain matches. And this past week on Raw, Styles and Omos would face each member of the Viking Raiders in singles competition. And part of me thinks that this match was thrown onto this card almost as a replacement to the cancelled Bianca Belair Bayley match, and will probably just be used as a filler match, either between Money in the Bank ladder matches or between one Money in the Bank ladder match and the other, and say one of the other championship matches, because guaranteed this show will start with either the men or women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes, so let us run you through the match card once more for tonight's Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
On the pre-show, the Mysterio family of Dominic and Rey will defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Usos.
In the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, we have Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, and he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty husband, Seth Rollins, go in a match for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match to earn a future championship match.
Same rules apply in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Ash, almost a superhero, Liv Morgan, Selena Vega, Natalya, and Tamina.
Bobby Lashley will defend his WWE Championship against Kofi Kingston.
Rhea Ripley defends the Raw Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair.
Roman Reigns, the head of the table, will defend his Universal Championship against the Rated R superstar Edge.
And AJ Styles and Omos will defend the Raw Tag Team Championships against the Viking Raiders.
So that about does it for our Money in the Bank pre-show.
As Money in the Bank comes at us in about 5 hours from the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. Join us next week, Thursday actually, when we will bring you our reaction to Money in the Bank. And hopefully something else. with the first
So,
with the first Raw back in fans, if something major happens there, and we get the some indication of what can happen at SummerSlam, we'll give you that as well. But until then,
I've been Sean Randy Smith, and he's been.
Reese Rock Jones, and we shall see you next time.
Go out for now.